So yesterday afternoon, we were watching Toy Story at home. I had started it just before dinner while I was preparing the food, and Ellie had something to watch, and we could sing You've Got a Friend in Me together and all that good stuff. But one thing that I've not really ever picked up on before is the baby monitor. So early in the movie, when Andy is having his birthday party and the army men, Andy is having his birthday party just before they're getting ready to move, and Woody and most of the toys are upstairs, but they send the plastic army men downstairs to hide out in the plant and keep eye over the birthday party, specifically the presents, so they can report back like what new toys are going to be joining the room. The army would take with them a baby monitor. Now, I wasn't watching at the time of this scene, but I was listening. And they're talking back and forth through the baby monitor. Obviously, it's only a one-way thing because it's 1995. They didn't have the two-way, like, you can talk to your kid while they're sleeping and stuff. They didn't have that function. At least not that I know of. So I remember talking through and giving all the gist of what everything is. And then they assume that they're done. So they start packing up, and then all of a sudden, they're like, no. And the general or major or captain, whoever you want to call him, yells, turn that thing back on. He gives it an inanimate kind of descriptor. He says, turn that thing, which means he's not giving it any sort of personification. It's just an object. And he starts screaming, hey, we've got another present. And Rex, the dinosaur, gets overexcited and anxious and decides to pick up the other, the receiver, and start shaking it, and eventually drops it, and the batteries pop out, and they all get very concerned. Oh, what is it going to be? And so they start scrambling. And here's where I had an issue. Like I said, I wasn't watching at this point. I was just listening. But Woody says, turn him around. Turn him around. He goes, turn him around. Because they're trying to put the batteries back in. Now, I could be wrong. Because again, I was in the middle of cooking and wasn't really listening. So I don't know for sure that it was Woody that said it. It might have been Ham. Also, it may not have been turn him around. It might have been turn them around, like the batteries, because I think they argue about which way the batteries are supposed to go in. So, not 100% on that. I don't know. But I was just curious as to why, if that's the case, why they refer to the receiver in a personified way, saying him, and the transmitter in an objective? They call it an it, or a that thing. Because to me, a baby monitor is not a toy, and so the whole idea of toys being alive, first of all, I wonder, like, okay, if the toy loses its batteries, is it dead? Is that like the end of the toy's life? We see later in Toy Story 3 that that's not the case. It just resets them, so they're essentially dead because they don't remember any of their previous life. It's an odd conundrum that I found myself experiencing yesterday. It sounded like Woody was referring to the baby monitor as a he, which makes it part of the toy story, the toy universe. But I don't view baby monitors as toys. I don't think you necessarily want your kid playing with them. They're simply used to monitor the baby. So maybe I was completely wrong in what I heard anyway, but in my defense, like I said many times, I was not actually watching intensely. So yeah, that was just kind of a question that popped up about Toy Story, and specifically the beginning of it. There are more questions I have about that film and other films, and we'll probably visit those in some further videos. But for now, I apologize for how crazy the beginning of yesterday afternoon's video was. Additionally, how incorrect this video could possibly be. And I'll see you this afternoon.